Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So, Kosei Tanaka of Japan becomes a 4-weight WBO champion. He's won belts in 4 divisions, minimum weight up to super-fly, and they've all been WBO belts. I think we can say that Mr. Tanaka and the WBO have very, very good, they're on very, very good terms here. And this latest one was a vacant belt. In fact, 3 of his titles have been for vacant belts when he's won them. Okay. But let's not take anything away from the guy. This latest one, the WBO Superfly belt, he beat Mexico's Christian Bacasegua. Bacasegua came in with 22 wins, 4 defeats and 2 draws, but he hadn't been beaten since 2019. And that was a majority decision. I think 2 of his 4 defeats, 3 have been either majority or split decisions. He was stopped once in 4 rounds in a bit of a shocker against the journeyman. I think it was just one of those days where, he got caught cold, bad day at the office. But he's cut his teeth in Mexico. I think this was his first time out of Mexico. This fight was in Japan. And with these unknown Mexican guys or relatively unknown Mexican guys, you just don't know what to expect. Well, actually, we do know what to expect because they come over and they're tough. And this Bacasegua was very, very tough. Now, this was his first world title fight, whereas it was Tanaka's 10th. And this was a perfect example of how experience can play a big part in a 12-round fight. Because after 4 rounds, I thought Bacasegua was doing really well here. He was very aggressive, constantly coming forward, slinging a lot of punches. I mean, these are little guys; they sling a lot of punches anyway. Landing a lot, nothing particularly scientific about what he was doing. But he was swinging these huge hooks, wasn't neglecting the body, and he didn't unnerve Tanaka. He didn't make him look particularly uncomfortable, but you could sort of tell that Kosei Tanaka was pacing himself over 12. He'd been there before, he'd done it before, 12 rounds, no problem, and he was kind of edging his way into the fight, and he actually switched gears. He made some good adjustments from the 5th round onwards, and started to really take it to Bacasegua. Now, there's also, you've got to mention in the 5th round also, I think it was the 5th round, there was a clash of heads, which seemed to sort of knock Bacasegua out of his rhythm. And especially as Tanaka was in the ascendancy, it wasn't doing Bacasegua any good. And from then on in, I think from the 6th round onwards, Tanaka really kind of took over and was, especially to the body, he was chopping away to the body. And then in the 8th round, Bacasegua sort of staggered, fell into the ropes from there were, I can't remember exactly what the punches were, but I know there was one right-hander that seemed, and possibly a left hook that seemed to rattle him, and he sort of looked to grab and hold, but Tanaka sort of swung him round into the ropes, and the referee called it a knockdown, and I thought that was a little bit harsh. And the body language of Bacasegua, I think it was more the body punches than the head punches, because he fell in, and like I say, Tanaka sort of swung him round and sidestepped almost, and he fell into the ropes. And that little so-called pseudo knockdown came just after Bacasegua was coming forward and throwing his own punches. Now he sort of regrouped Bacasegua in the 9th round and was able to sort of again get into that rhythm of throwing punches, but he was clearly fighting at with depleted resources. It was a case of Tanaka looking, like he'd really paced himself well. Bacasegua huffing and puffing. The body punches had knocked a lot of the wind out of him. But he didn't stop trying. I mean, he calls himself Rocky, and he lived up to it as well, because he did fight like Rocky. But there was only one winner from the 8th, 9th onwards, and that was Tanaka. In the last round, Tanaka went for the stoppage, didn't get it. He was landing flush with a lot of combinations, actually, not just individual punches. Looking very, very poised. Bacasegua, his shape and his rhythm had sort of unravelled. He was hanging on desperately, but at the same time still throwing punches back. I mean, these Mexican guys are so damn tough. It's unbelievable. If they talk about going out on his shield, you very rarely see a Mexican who loses who doesn't go out on his shield. I mean, these are tough guys. But he did make it to the end, which is I'm glad about, because he deserves to at least go the distance. Like I say, this was his first fight out of Mexico. And a win and a fourth belt for Mr. Kosei Tanaka. Yeah. 4 wins, 4 belts, 4 divisions, 4 WBO titles, 3 of them vacant. Yeah, all right. We're not talking Naoya Inoue, unified champ, but no, I'm not taking anything away from the kid. I mean, he's 28 years old, for Christ's sake. He's picked up belts in 4 divisions. He does have a defeat on his record, a stoppage defeat, actually, Tanaka, because back in 2020, he lost his WBO, I think he fought, that's right, he stepped up and he fought Kazuto Aoki for the super flyweight belt back then, but knocked out in 8 rounds. And then he regrouped, and this was for the vacant belt, that's right. With these Japanese names, I get confused sometimes, Ignorant Englishman, what can I tell you? Anyway, it was a good fight. This was a good fight. If you saw it, comments below. What do you think of Tanaka? I think he's a very, very good fighter indeed, and there's more to come from him. This was only his 21st fight. He won his first world title fight, the WBO minimumweight title, in only his 5th fight. So, as with a lot of these smaller guys, they pick up belts early. But I was impressed by him. I think he's a good fighter. And Bacasegua, can he come again? Yeah, maybe. He'll have to fight more out of Mexico. He's only 26. Looks older, but he's only 26. So, yeah, he can come again. And he'll probably be a better fighter because of this particular fight. 12 rounds, world title fight, lost on points, had to walk through hell to go the distance. Yeah, I like him. He can come again. Anyway, comments below if you've got any. Please leave a like if you don't mind. Hit the subscription button if you're not a subscriber. I'd appreciate that. It takes a second. Don't cost you anything, so why not? Anyway, looking forward to reading your comments. Bye for now.